I really wanted to go to this lead metrics dashboard one, which is more of a dashboard demo. So who here actually knows from all of their marketing funnels which of their lead magnets or blogs or emails or referral sources is bringing you paying customers all the way from the tippy top of their funnel, all the way down through the actual sale in an automatic way? Well, if you're anything like us, we sort of kind of knew, but it was really tricky to maintain that system. It constantly had to be sort of sense checked. And in a lot of ways, there was just huge gaps where we straight up like didn't know at all. And every business sort of runs on the same funnel, right? Let people find you, they get to know you, they start to trust you, and eventually some of them buy. And the more clearly you can see that cycle, the more you can test it, the more you can improve it and scale it. But just collecting that data on your own business and getting an accurate read on each of those steps is so hard, again, for small businesses like what we have here. So what we used to do was we duct tape together a whole pile of expensive tools. We were using OptinMonster, which is a software that helps us collect new leads. That was $1,200 a year. We were using Supermetrics, which is actually a connector that works inside of Google Sheets for us. And it pulls other data, again, that we already own from other sources. It just pulls it into the Google Sheet for us. That was $3,000 a year, right? Like, we even hired a data expert off of Upwork to sort of wire it all together for us because, we can't staff like a full data department. And it was breaking constantly, right? The second that we added a new lead magnet or we tweaked the funnel, like everything had to be redesigned and it was sort of broken. So then, of course, every week I was just solving these problems over and over again. So what I asked to do in this metrics dashboard was, hey, show me end to end which of my lead magnets are actually turning into sales. And in order to do that, I did have to redesign some of those lead magnets, which of course then I upgraded to while I was at it. And now we have this incredible lead magnets dashboard. So what this dashboard shows me is sort of a layer inside of my helm, and it shows me how many leads I'm getting from which lead magnets, how many of those leads actually became customers. If I was to click this, which I won't, you would see the actual customers and their whole journey through the pipeline. And if I scroll down a bit, you can see various widgets here, the leads by each of one of my lead magnets, by source type, since I just really like a lot of data. If you wanted to build yours like more simplistic, you could absolutely do this. I told it that I needed to know where the leads were coming from which channel, and then specifically which specific source, right? Like which email did they come from? Which blog did they come from? Which webinar registration link did they come from? Because I really wanted to know, like, what is most effective about our funnel that's actually converting people? So then that's great, right? Then we have the actual data. And I'm like, yes, so much data, feels so powerful. But then I sort of had another problem, which was, oh crap, now I have to go and look at all this data and figure out what to do with that data. So what we did was we put a little Jarvis layer on top of it. And what Jarvis does is it takes a first stab at analyzing the data, right? Because the data alone just sort of leaves you going like, okay, what do I do with this now? Like, what's the most important action to take? So we added this little button that says, ask Claude for deeper insights. And it says it takes 5 to 15 seconds. It costs me about, I think, less than half a penny every time I click that button to run this through the LLM. And then it will give me some updated metrics or updated insights. So again, these are always like something I would want to directly verify. Like it's saying, oh, this is dead weight. It's like, I probably have a little bit more context than this particular insight about why we're pushing that lead magnet. But this is so great, right? Push stage assessment harder everywhere. Stage assessment converts at 20%. This is a single best converter in the data. And as a result of this insight, I was able to take that particular lead magnet and put it on the homepage of our website. I put it throughout some of our blog posts. Our coach Frida is using it a lot when she wants to collect more data on a potential client. This was so useful because honestly, it was not on my radar to turn this into our main lead magnet. And now it was. So yeah, this is such a great way for me to figure out what are we scaling, what are we fixing or improving about our marketing funnel, how is social media doing? So this is one of those dashboards I was just like, oh yeah, I'm seeing now the power of AI. And honestly, keeping all this accurate, figuring out what to do with it, that would be 2 or 3 people's whole jobs, is just this data management. Plus, we could only afford to collect info, for example, on the email side once a month because it was manual. It required someone to go in and pull the data and then carefully copy and paste the numbers into the spreadsheet. So now it's live, it's update every single day, it's more accurate, and it doesn't cost us anything anymore.
Love this. Love it. I mean, when I saw this, I just flipped my lid. I absolutely flipped my lid. It's absolutely incredible.
Another dashboard that I am super, super excited about is our social media performance dashboard. I freaking hate social media, you guys. It's I post something, I can't really tell what's landing. It's very difficult to compare one post to another post. That one got a lot of views, but this one got a lot of likes. Which one should we do more of? I don't really know. Does anyone else have this social media problem where you're I know I need to check the box on social media, but I would like to be steadily improving, and it's really hard to understand what to do to get there? So personally, Dare and I both are just not naturally good. We're not social media savants. We're more I prefer to be data-driven in front of my computer and delivering the work that we're excited about. And we don't want to be out there on social media, wondering how we're doing. Plus, social media data lives in dozens of places. Instagram owns its data, YouTube owns its data, Facebook owns its data. And so if you wanted to actually do a good job comparing your posts across platforms, you would just you'd have to be clicking to all these platforms. And so we end up not doing that, right? So this is another one that's linked to on our Helm. And it pulls the raw numbers from all of these places through a service called Windsor. And then the AI brain, builds this on top. It just builds it and it's updated every single day, or I can refresh it manually. And it finally helped me compare all of my posts with one sort of super duper metric, which is our engagement rate. My average engagement rate, actually just when I started using this, was only about 4.5%. And now it's up to 6%. And so this gives me such a reasonable goal to shoot for, where I'm okay, now every single post, I want it doing at least 6%, right? That's my new goal post. Rather than looking at some other influencer and being oh my gosh, their posts are so much better, getting so much more engagement. It's no, I just want to compare myself to me, because that's really the most reasonable comparison. And it gives me a way to track to see if we're doing better or actually doing worse. So if I scroll down, also you can see my little Jarvis layer here, which is what's working and what to change. It gives me an analysis that, oh, the reels that you're posting are carrying reach, but carousels are also winning saves, so probably good for engagement there. But guess what? Static images are performing at 1% average engagement, so probably shouldn't be posting those anymore and spending more energy on reels. So great little insight there that's going to help us improve. And then I can actually see the post by post performance here, which is so great. So I can be how did we do yesterday? I don't have to open Instagram to know how we did. I can see our top performing post if I want, or I can order it by most recent. So I'm oh wow, this carousel we posted yesterday did really well, actually, all things considered. So I love just being able to go in here, and if I clicked over into YouTube, I can see our top engaged YouTube posts, and same with Facebook and TikTok. So this again is a live email campaigns dashboard that shows me my open and click rates coming in from ActiveCampaign. Again, in the past, I would have had to go into ActiveCampaign, which is our email software, and figure out what those open and click rates were. And this shows me what it is for our main list of email subscribers, and our actual membership list, which is our Lifehack tribe members that we also email, and I want to track them sort of separately. I love this dashboard so much. I find it using it constantly, and it sort of gets rid of that hand wavy part about like, hey, I feel like we should be spending more time talking about this, or I feel like this kind of post is getting more engagement. Let's do more of that. And it's much more data driven, where it's like, oh, okay, I see this reel didn't have a strong enough hook at the top of it. So actually, let's redo it. And in fact, there was this reel that is our top performing reel. We originally posted it with a different hook, and it sort of underperformed. And I was like, oh, I see why it underperformed. Like there was no strong hook up front. The thing that I'm talking about, the little lead magnet behind my head, wasn't even visible. We didn't present it well. So I had my team go back and take another pass at it and re-edit and post it again. And it like is our best performing reel now. So same idea, we just sort of like rejudged it and gave it better packaging, and it performed a lot better. So such a great example of how we use this dashboard to continually improve on social media.
Carey, I have a great question that I think is worth injecting here.
Yeah.
Peter just said, is the data for all of this coming in just from Google Sheets? And I was responding to him and saying, what's great about Claude is that it can be a hybrid of data.
Yeah.
It can be Google Sheets. It can come in from third-party APIs, from data providers. I don't know what other kind of sources you've plugged into, Carey.
Well, this one, so it's streaming directly in from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. And then down below where you saw my email data, that's streaming in directly from ActiveCampaign. So Claude has an MCP server. Any LLM can access it for ActiveCampaign. And it's great because it gets a lot of that read permission on ActiveCampaign for that data part, where it's like, hey, I just need to see the open and the click rate on these emails. And because I have that whole database created already for our leads, if you remember seeing the leads dashboard a second ago, I was able to have it connect that. It actually created a custom database for us to track all that. And I was like, we already have a database. So match up the information that you see from the emails and match that to our sales data so that I can also see the complete picture from email to lead magnet to sale and conversion rate, which just felt so good because I was like, great, we have this amazing custom database it created for us. Like, let's just go and use that same data. And it all plugs in. And again, dashboards are so great like that because you can bring together data from a lot of different sources and see it displayed in the way that you want it displayed.
Awesome. Carey, let's keep pacing, but you're doing great.
Awesome. So here's the part that's, I think, really, really important about this, which is what to do now. Okay, so like I have all this great data. I'm like, great, we got to do more of it. But I use this dashboard and a couple other things that I want to show you to plan our entire monthly content calendar. So this sort of feeds in this data that I just showed you from social media, feeds into our content engine. Who else is just drowning trying to keep up with the level of content that they're supposed to be creating? Social, emails, blogs, videos, LinkedIn content. Is it just me? I feel like the old way is like, okay, let's get together with an agency, a copywriting agency and an SEO agency and a blank page, and you're like downloading all your best ideas and you spend a bunch of days shooting content and everything. And then you just have to keep doing that over and over and over and over again. And the calendar is always sort of behind. So here's sort of how our system looks and how we solved it with these three different problems, right? So the problem number one is we don't know what's even working. So that's the dashboard you just saw, which cuts through all the noise and tells us what we should be doing more and less of. Then the second one is, okay, so what do I actually post about? Our coaches are on live calls every week, just dropping gold, right? They prep for these calls. They coach our clients. They're hearing our real clients' issues. They come up with analogies and stories, and just they make incredible content, but it just sort of evaporated into the ether, right? It was like, maybe if I was on that call and I heard something, I would write it down. Let's be honest, like I'm not going to go back and watch the replays of every single call. There's like dozens of hours of calls per week. So the marketing team never heard it. So we created an insights library, and every team call that we run, the transcript from Zoom runs automatically through our AI brain, and the AI brain pulls out the most marketable moments those like spicy demure lines or like demure analogies, it then ranks them 1 to 5, and then it emails them to me daily and lets me know which ones are like worthy of being posted on social media. And it just becomes this huge library that I can pull from, and it costs us like almost nothing. So let me show you what it looks like. We have like insights from Coach Tanya. Not coulds and not shoulds because it will make me feel better, but must because this is non-negotiable, right? So there's just like little nuggets sprinkled all throughout here. Here's another one for various things from Coach Elsa, even a couple like client quotes. The new thing on the scene is worth the squeeze. And what's great here is if I like the insight, then I can open up the caption and newsletter angle that it proposes for me. And if I like, no, I just need more context surrounding that, I can open up the full call folder where I can see the full transcript, a summary markdown file of it, sort of the AI analysis of why it thought this could be a good social nugget. So that is the insights engine here.
I just need to stop here. This was a game changer. Carey would come off a call and she'd be like, Demir, I have a bunch of clients telling you that you really rocked it on that call. We need to make 3 social media posts. Can you give me 3 ideas from the call? And I'm like, I don't remember. Like I have amnesia. I like have no idea. Now we are building, pay attention to it or not, we are building a solid bank of our own content and IP that just gets emailed to Carey directly. Like, here's, if now she was struggling to get 3 ideas from me for social media. Now, like, it's like, I've got 150 that I haven't even looked through, and they're awesome. They're really, really good. Carey's always showing her phone to be like, oh, look at what Elle said, or look at what you said. This is perfect. I'm going to use this. So you're really going to pop their brain off on the next demo because you're going to see how this connects.